What if I told you the only thing standing between you and massive results isn't some extreme diet or a brutal training plan? It's just 1% more effort every single day. Sounds almost too simple, right? But here's the catch. While most people are out there chasing quick fixes, jumping from one trendy workout to the next, hoping for overnight results, the ones who actually win, they're doing something different. They're not relying on motivation or waiting for the perfect time. Instead, they focus on tiny, almost invisible improvements. One extra rep, a slight tweak in their diet, 5 more minutes of movement. It doesn't feel like much in the moment, but over time, it compounds into something massive. And here's the best part. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. You don't need to spend hours in the gym or starve yourself. The difference between staying stuck and completely transforming your body isn't about going all in for a few weeks. It's about small, consistent actions that add up. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to apply this in a way that actually works, without burning out or giving up. You've probably been there, chasing quick results, cutting carbs, doubling your workouts, going all in overnight. And for a while, it seemed to work. Until it didn't. Maybe you burned out, lost motivation, or just couldn't keep up with the extreme changes. That's not a lack of willpower. That's not you failing. The real problem? The all-or-nothing mindset that convinces you if you're not going 100%, you're not making progress at all. But here's what no one tells you. Progress isn't about flipping a switch and suddenly becoming a new person. It's about stacking small wins, one on top of the other, until they turn into something unstoppable. That's where the 1% rule comes in. You're not overhauling your entire lifestyle overnight. You're just making one small improvement at a time. Something so easy it almost feels effortless. And while 1% might not feel like much today, give it time, and it snowballs into massive change. Think about it like compound interest. If you invest a little bit consistently, your money doesn't just grow, it multiplies. The same happens with your body. One extra rep, an extra glass of water, fixing your squat form, it all stacks up. Do that daily, and suddenly, you're stronger, leaner, and more disciplined than you ever thought possible. And here's the best part. It's easy. No crash diets, no extreme discipline, no unrealistic commitments. Just simple, manageable upgrades that build momentum. And that momentum? That's what takes you from frustrated and stuck to seeing real, lasting results. Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly how to make this work in your own life. You might think the only way to make real progress is by going all in, training like an athlete, following the perfect diet, making some massive change overnight. And that's exactly why so many people fail. They push too hard, too fast, and when they can't keep up, they quit. But the ones who actually succeed, they're not the ones chasing perfection. They're the ones who focus on the little things, the small, daily improvements that, over time, create unstoppable momentum. And that's the magic of the 1% rule. Just get a little bit better each day. That's it. No overhauls, no extreme sacrifices, just tiny upgrades that stack up in ways you'd never expect. Think about it. If you improve by just 1% each day in a year, that's 365% better than where you started. That's not theory. It's how real progress happens. That extra rep you push through in your workout, it builds strength you never thought possible. That small tweak in your squat form, it prevents injuries that could have set you back for months. That minor adjustment in your diet, it keeps your energy stable and makes consistency feel effortless. None of these things feel life-changing in the moment, but that's exactly why they work. They don't demand perfection. They're sustainable. And when you put them all together, that's when the real transformation happens. But here's something you need to know. This rule works both ways. Just like small improvements add up, small bad habits do too. Slouching in your squat, skipping your warm-up, grabbing an extra handful of snacks, these things don't seem like a big deal at first. But over time, they slow you down. They chip away at your progress. That's why the key isn't to chase some extreme transformation. It's about making tiny, intentional upgrades every day. It might not feel like much now, but trust me, give it time. One day, you'll look back and realize just how far those small efforts have taken you. You might think the only way to see real progress in the gym is by pushing yourself harder, doubling your workout time, lifting way heavier, or going all out every session. And sure, that might work for a little while, until it doesn't. Because here's the truth, training harder doesn't always mean training smarter. In fact, that all or nothing approach, It's exactly what leads to burnout, plateaus, and even injuries. The people who make real, lasting progress, they're not the ones going full throttle every day. They're the ones making small, calculated improvements, ones that don't feel like much at first, but over time create unstoppable momentum. Take progressive overload, for example. You don't need to slap an extra 20 pounds on the bar overnight. Even adding just 2.5 to 5 pounds every couple of weeks leads to serious strength gains over time. That's because your body thrives on gradual adaptation. The same goes for endurance. Pushing yourself just a little longer on the treadmill, squeezing out one extra rep each session, or shaving a few seconds off your rest time may seem minor, but it forces your body to step up and keep improving. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. And this isn't just about lifting heavier or running longer. Mobility and recovery are just as crucial. 5 minutes of stretching a day? It sounds small, almost insignificant. But over time, it keeps your joints healthy, prevents injuries, and improves your overall movement patterns, allowing you to train harder without setbacks. On the flip side, skipping warm-ups or rushing through cooldowns? That's a small habit too, but one that leads to stiffness, poor performance, and long-term issues. The goal isn't to transform everything at once, it's to make tiny, sustainable upgrades that compound over time. One more rep today, slightly better form tomorrow, a little extra effort the next. Before you know it, those small, intentional choices add up to real, undeniable progress. And the best part? It won't even feel like you're making drastic changes until you look back and see how far you've come. You don't need to flip your entire diet upside down to see real results. Too many people fall into the trap of thinking they have to cut out carbs completely, eat only clean foods, or track every single calorie to make progress. But just like training, the biggest transformations don't come from extreme overhauls. They come from small, consistent improvements. Instead of stressing over every bite, focus on simple, sustainable swaps. You don't need to go from junk food to perfect eating overnight. Just replacing one processed snack with a whole food each day might not seem like much, but over time, it reduces cravings, stabilizes energy levels, and helps you stay lean without even trying. It's not about getting it right 100% of the time. It's about making small upgrades that actually stick. And if there's one easy habit that can make a huge impact, it's hydration. Most people don't drink nearly enough water, and they don't even realize how much dehydration slows metabolism, drains energy, and triggers unnecessary hunger. Just one extra glass of water a day can improve digestion, support fat loss, and even make workouts feel easier. A simple trick? Drink a glass of water before meals. It's such a small habit, but it naturally helps with portion control, keeping you full so you eat less without even thinking about it. Little things like this might not feel game-changing at first, but when you make them part of your routine, they add up in a big way. Then there's protein, the foundation of muscle growth. You don't need to completely change your meals or start downing shakes all day. Just adding 10 more grams of protein per meal can make a massive difference in muscle recovery, strength, and fat loss. That's as simple as an extra egg at breakfast or a little more chicken at dinner. Over time, that small adjustment leads to better muscle definition and keeps your body fueled without making you feel like you're on some restrictive diet. The goal isn't to chase perfection. It's to stack small, manageable habits that fuel your progress. When you focus on these little, daily wins, eating for your goals stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes second nature. Stick with it, and before you know it, the way you eat won't just support your progress. It'll make staying in shape feel effortless. By the way, if you're getting value from this and want more no-nonsense tips to level up your fitness, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It's a small click for you, but it helps the channel grow and keeps the content coming. Now, let's get back to it. You might be nailing your workouts and eating all the right foods, but if your lifestyle is off, your results will always hit a ceiling. Training and nutrition are huge, but they're only part of the equation. How well you recover, how much stress you carry, and how you sleep can either fuel your progress or hold you back. And here's the best part. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine to fix it. A few small easy changes can completely transform the way your body performs, recovers, and responds to all the work you're putting in. Take sleep, for example. You don't suddenly need to aim for 9 hours a night. That's unrealistic for most people. But going to bed just 15 minutes earlier, that's a game changer. Over time, that small tweak leads to better muscle recovery, more balanced hormones, and higher energy levels. The result? Stronger workouts, faster strength gains, and even easier fat loss, all without making a drastic change. The same goes for movement outside the gym. You don't need to be on your feet all day, but a simple 10-minute walk after meals can work wonders. It helps with digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and adds up to hundreds of extra calories burned each week, without even feeling like extra effort. And then there's stress, the silent progress killer. You might not feel it directly, but high cortisol levels make it harder to burn fat, recover properly, and stay motivated. Stress can sabotage results just as much as a bad diet or inconsistent training. But here's the fix. It doesn't take hours of meditation or a complete lifestyle shift. Just 1 minute of deep breathing or mindfulness each day can calm your nervous system, lower cortisol, and put your body in a better state for muscle growth and fat loss. It's a tiny effort with a massive payoff. The key here? None of these are major lifestyle overhauls. They're small, intentional upgrades that barely take any effort. But when you stack them together, they create the kind of lasting results that most people chase for years without ever achieving. Progress isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. And when you start making these simple shifts, your body will reward you in ways you never expected. People don't realize just how much their small daily choices shape their long-term results. A single workout won't transform your physique, just like one unhealthy meal won't ruin your progress. But when those choices are repeated, day after day, week after week, they either push you forward or quietly hold you back. The truth is, real progress isn't about what you do once. It's about what you do consistently. The difference between someone who applies the 1% rule and someone who doesn't won't be obvious in a day or even a week, but give it a year, and the gap between them is massive. Picture two people starting at the same fitness level. One of them makes small but intentional upgrades, adding a little weight to their lifts each week, swapping one processed snack for a whole food, and prioritizing an extra 15 minutes of sleep. The other, they stick to the same habits, doing what feels comfortable. At first, the difference is almost invisible, but over time, one becomes stronger, leaner, and more energized, while the other stays stuck, or worse, starts sliding backward. That's the power of compound progress. It doesn't happen overnight, but when those tiny improvements stack up, the results are undeniable. And here's the thing, this works both ways. Every small habit, good or bad, accumulates over time. The key isn't about being perfect, because perfection isn't sustainable. It's about making slightly better choices each day, ones that work for you instead of against you. Choosing water over soda, fixing your squat form, getting to bed just a little earlier, it all adds up. The small, seemingly insignificant actions you take today are shaping your future self, whether you realize it or not. So, ask yourself, are the choices you're making right now moving you forward, or are they keeping you stuck in a cycle of just maintaining, never really growing? The reality is, you don't need some drastic overhaul to change your body. You just need to decide right now that you're going to be 1% better today than you were yesterday. Do that, and in a few months, you won't even recognize the person you used to be.